coming at you today with some stale material. One of my favorite videos ever is when this youth pastor talks about the time that he punched a kid in the chest. Oh, it's a classic. I'm talking about this dude, Pastor Eric Dammann, or Dammann, or I don't really care enough to look up the pronunciation, but he ain't playing games with God, and you shouldn't either. I've been seeing this clip recirculate, and I think it's because it blew up on TikTok recently, even though this happened like 7 years ago or something like that. But if you have not seen it, you're in for a treat. Let's watch it together.
There was a young man in Calvary. His name was Ben. And I was running a youth group. I was there for a few years. And he was a nice kid, but he was one of those kids that was always he's a real smart aleck. Was a bright kid, which didn't help things, right? Made him more dangerous.
Oh, no.
And we were outside one day at youth group, and he was just trying to push my buttons, and he was just, kind of not taking the Lord serious. And I walked over to him, and I went, bam! I punched him in the chest as hard as I crumpled the kid. I just crumpled him. And I leaned over and I said, Ben, when are you going to stop playing games with God? I led that man to the Lord right there.
Greatest video of all time. To this day, I think it's the greatest video of all time. Terrible. What he did was terrible, but absolutely hilarious. We basically have this grown man who gets upset because some kid is showing him up. He's playing games with God. He's not taking the Lord seriously. Is it that he's not taking the Lord seriously, Eric? Or is it because he's not taking you seriously? Maybe he's laughing because you're talking about talking snakes. Perhaps you're giving a little sermon on Jonah living in the belly of a whale for a few days. Maybe that got a giggle out of this kid, and he laughed about it. And so he's not taking the Lord seriously. So you punch him in the chest. Remix.
There was a young man in Calvary. His name was Ben. And I was running a youth group. I was there for a few years. He was a nice kid. He was one of those kids that was always he's a real smart aleck. Was a bright kid, which didn't help him, right? Made him more dangerous. And we were outside one day, youth group, and he was just trying to push my buttons, and he was just, kind of not taking the Lord serious. And I walked over to him, and I went, bam, 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 bam. When are you going to stop playing games with God?
TMbeats. After COVID, I'm throwing a party, and that song's going to be the only one on the playlist, baby. It's difficult to pick a favorite part of his little mini sermon, but I think it's got to be where he says, and I led that man to the Lord right there. Dude, you just punched a kid in the chest. Don't you think he's a little afraid and would say anything at that moment? I mean, I would say pretty much anything. Okay, yes, I love Black Olives. Oh, mumble rap. Mumble rap is the best music of all time. I would say anything just to shut this dude up and keep him from punching me again, because he obviously has anger issues. I'm not going to accuse this guy of domestic violence, but I'm guessing he's probably had a divorce or 2 or 3 and restraining orders, possibly. That pastor later said, I do not condone abuse in any form. I chose a very poor example from my past and very poor wording to describe it, and I deeply regret using it. Do you regret punching the kid? Or are you just kind of saying that never happened? That's the problem here, is these pastors and people in power, they think they can get away with anything. Stuff like this. Sorry, dude. Just not going to fly anymore. Imagine all the shit that happened before the social media days, before everything was recorded. People got away with a lot worse stuff than this. So we need to expose these assholes as often as possible. Let me know in the comments if you've ever seen this video before, or if I'm gracing you with it for the first time. If so, you're welcome. And make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.